Good morning. Hey, a couple of days ago, I was out here doing some work. You might recall that I had to prepare a place to put some of our gardening because it's so wet up above. And what I chose to use was the old pig pen area. Some of it is still fenced in. The fencing looks halfway decent. And I thought, well, I'll just clean up that area and we'll plant in there, and after a few years it'll actually start looking like a garden. But for now, hey, it's what we have to do. Now, the reason that was a couple days ago was, to be perfectly honest with you, I overdid it. I tried to do too much, too fast, ended up with back spasms the next day. Was not a pretty sight, and well, I didn't get back out here, even though it was a gorgeous day yesterday to do that. But I wanted to show you what I did get done. And yeah, you can kind of see some of the work that was done. I'll show you another little view over here. Some of the debris that piled up, and yeah, I'll take care of that later. I'm going to go inside and you're going to see that this is far from a perfect job. This still has a lot of work to be done. And yeah, wow, I got to watch my back. I'll be bending over quite a bit. Thing is, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just got to do the job. And I think that's where sometimes we put too much on ourselves. We think that God is pushing us to be perfect in every way. Well, I have to agree that God does push us, gives us a little nudge through the Holy Spirit. I hear the voice of Jesus saying, "Be ye perfect, even as our Father in heaven is perfect." Yeah, we have those words, but I don't think they were talking about perfection in the sense that we think there can't be one single thing out of place and everything has to be totally awesome, because the truth of the matter is it's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen in this garden, and it's not going to happen in our lives either. Even if we look at what we consider the two most perfect Christians in the New Testament, who would that be? The apostles Peter and Paul. Look at the fights they got into. They disagreed. They weren't perfect people. They even went their separate ways. There were some real good discussions that they had, calling each other on the carpet. Read the book of Acts. Read the letters of Paul. Of course, in those letters of Paul, you're going to get his viewpoint. But it's just true that we're not going to be perfect people. And I think that's one thing we need to realize right now as we come into a whole new phase of this pandemic, where we've been living with it for a while. We've been living under the lockdown rules, the social distancing. That now we have that need to get back to work, and it's a valid need. It's a good need. Our economies are suffering. Our families are suffering. A lot of people are doing without, and they just need to put food on the table. I think everyone can agree that's the direction we want to go. You know what the problem is? Our disagreements on exactly how to do that. And I think that's where you and I come into play. You and I with a unique perspective on the world. You and I looking at the world through the eyes of Christ himself. Just as Peter and Paul didn't always agree, and they had their little spats. You know, as Christians sitting down, we're not going to have our total agreements either. We're going to have those moments where we say, "Nah, you're crazy. No, this is the way we have to do it." And we have to be careful. We have to respect and love one another as Jesus loved us. And that means to listen, to honor and respect differing opinions, and to try to come up with a plan that truly does work. And a plan that it may not be perfect, it won't be perfect, but you know, it's one that we can live with. And it's one that our friends, our neighbors, our family, and we ourselves can literally live with. And perhaps what we have to keep in mind is there's one set of lenses we need to look at everything through. That set of lenses is love. Is this the most loving thing to do? Is this the most caring thing to do? We need to keep that perspective in mind. It's a little bit like the saying that's been around for a while, what would Jesus do? Yeah, what would Jesus do? What would be the loving and caring thing to do? It's not going to be easy, folks, but we can do it. We can do it. And we'll be going through that ourselves as a congregation. How do we do worship differently now? How do we interact with those away from the church? There's a whole lot involved. Now, I think I read it somewhere that Peter and Paul did not, after their disagreements, shake hands, give hugs, go out, have a campfire, and sing Kumbaya and eat s'mores. I thought I read that somewhere, but I doubt that's in the Bible. And I doubt that's the way it's going to be with us too. No matter what kind of plan we come up with as a congregation to reopen our doors, what we come up with as communities to open up our restaurants and open up our businesses and our stores. But, folks, we have to do it through the eyes of love. What is the best for our neighbors? Not just for us personally and selfishly, but what is best for our neighbors, our friends, our family? Just what would Jesus do? Now, that's a tough question, and it's one we need to ask, and it's one we will ask. God's blessings be with you as we go through these somewhat difficult moments now in trying to make those decisions. And always, let's remember, we are called to love one another as Jesus has loved us. Blessings. Have a great day. And by the way, if you're in the mood, I have a little bit of firewood that needs moved. Blessings be with you.